This is very embarrassing, but I have been sidelined by a bowling injury. You're probably thinking, how do you get injured bowling? And the answer is, I tripped on nothing, kind of. The other, and you look really good at bowling. You can look really good at bowling without actually being good at bowling. I was bowling that way. And the left foot is the one that didn't do the sweeping. So it was kind of like the leg that would be planted still as your arm was throwing the bowling ball. I don't know if this is how normal people do it or if my method of bowling is not right. But when I would do it, the left leg, the plant leg is what I was calling it, is kind of, for me, slides a little bit as I'm still going forward, after I stop doing the walking part. And normally it's fine, because normally I don't have any issues. But on one of the throws, I don't know, the shoe that was during the part where it usually is sliding, it kind of caught, and the rest of my leg kept the forward kind of momentum, and my foot didn't, and that caused kind of a pop in my knee. And it was not followed by searing pain or swelling or anything like that, which was great, but it just kind of felt off. It's not painful, but you can tell that something isn't right anymore. But it didn't hurt, and we were there for someone's birthday, so I just kept bowling, and it was fine. As I was walking out to the car, I could definitely feel that something was off in the knee, but I couldn't identify what it was. I decided not to run that afternoon. I just didn't want to risk it, but figured it'd probably be fine because I could walk on it. It didn't hurt. So the next morning I woke up, first of all, my glute med, the gluteus medius, so sore from bowling, that's one of those muscles that I work on. Power just went out. Hold on. Okay, well, power's back. I forgot what I was talking about. I woke up the next morning. Woke up the next morning. Glute was sore, which is annoying because I do my exercises. It's a thing you're supposed to be good at, but whatever. I don't do a whole lot of, 2-hour-long single leg exercises, so I guess that would stress it out. Whatever, not salty. But my glute med was really sore. So if you are blessed enough to not know what that is, your glute max is the big part of your butt. The glute med is it's a little strip on top of that. And tightness in that can lead to tightness in your back. It can lead to tightness in the hip. It can lead to tightness in the psoas, I think. I'm not a PT student or professional, so this is just what I've noticed for me personally. None of this is medical advice, yada yada. I was really sore there. And so I thought, okay, I'll use my massage gun, which has been fantastic for me. I will stretch. Hamstrings felt a little tight, so I'll go ahead and stretch and do the figure 4 stretch, which is all great and everything. And then I ran 6 miles. And really, I didn't need to run 6 miles, but I decided to do a test run of 6 miles to see if I could just jump straight back into where I was. And I didn't hurt myself anymore, but things definitely felt really, really off the whole time. I felt unstable. And instability is not something you want to feel in your knee. A lot of times what they'll tell you when you have an ACL or MCL or whatever issue is there's a feeling of instability. So of course I panicked and thought, oh God, I've torn my something CL or my meniscus or something like that. So I kept off it for a couple of days. The instability kind of subsided, and so I went out for another run. It didn't feel great, it didn't feel worse, but I just kind of kept it pretty low for that week. Didn't try a long run, nothing like that. I think I had 12 to 15 miles that week, mostly just focusing on resting, stretching, strengthening, and trying to rehab through this so that I could miss as little actual training as possible. Because I had actually been training. I was up to like 40 something miles a week. I had a 12-mile long run the weekend before this happened. And I was doing really well. 1 to 2 workouts a week. I was back on track. And so this kind of really threw a wrench in that. The next week, again, mostly focusing on strengthening, stretching, trying to get better. And I ran 3 days that week for 15 miles. Nothing was feeling worse, which is good. And it was at that point that I kind of realized, oh, this is IT band syndrome. I'd had it before, but I hadn't had it in probably like 5 years. So I'd kind of forgotten what it really felt like. For some people, they'll feel it along the actual IT band. There's a little bit of tightness there for sure, especially when you like kind of twist opposite of if you pull your left leg towards the right and you twist your body the other way, I can definitely feel some tightness there. But most of the pain or tightness kind of manifests for me in the glute and the knee. And it's because, from my understanding, when the glute is tight, it pulls the IT band, which attaches down like around the knee. And so when you're tight up here, it's just pulling the whole thing upward. And that's not fun. It doesn't feel good. And it causes things to be misaligned. And the last thing you want is for things in your knee to be misaligned if you're running. I was able to put the fear of a something CL injury out of my mind, but still, IT band's not great. You're probably not gonna hurt yourself running through it, or at least I didn't, but please don't take that as medical advice. But I was told by a medical professional, you're probably not gonna make anything worse, but you're also not going to make anything better if you try to run through it. So I was trying to be kind and rewind and give my body a little bit of time to try to loosen up on its own, aided by the massage gun, stretching. Things started feeling okay and better, and I'd finish a run and nothing would be really wrong. So I was kind of moved this past week to every other day of running, and that went okay. I did, I think, 4.5 miles, and then 5.5 miles, and then 6 miles and 8 miles last week. Actually, and I ran the 5.5 and 6 back-to-back days. So increasing the stress in kind of a measured manner. Aerobically, I'm going to be fine at 23 miles a week or something like that. I wasn't worried about that. I was just worried about kind of testing what kind of load was going to irritate my leg. Today, the day after the 8-mile long run, I definitely feel, I would say, I think I feel inflammation or kind of a tightness, tugging in the whole IT band structure, so to speak. I'm also feeling some kind of a burning sensation in the hip flexor, and boy, do I hate that. I've had it happen before, back when I was dealing with IT band issues way long time ago, and it is so annoying. It burns. It's a burning sensation all day long. If you're sitting, if you're standing, one good standing quad stretch would just make it okay, and it's not. So it was at this point that I relented and decided I need to go to my massage guy. If you have a great massage guy, then you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't, I've been working with Adrian Alba from Sherman Sport and Spine here in Dallas for probably 5 or 6 years now, actually, and he is kind of my first line of defense when I find that I've got something going on that I can't handle myself. Despite having an arsenal of recovery tools, there are just things that you really can't do without the help of another person. I've got this great, where did it go? Here it is. Lacrosse ball. I've had this thing for a really long time. It can be very helpful, especially in getting like into the glute med and everything, but it's very difficult on your own to be able to get the ball in the right place on the muscle and then do range of motion stuff with the leg to actually work through the I think, I don't want to say trigger point, but the point where you're actually putting pressure on the muscle to help loosen it up effectively. I try to do that on my own, and if it doesn't work, then my next step is usually to go to Adrian. He and I, like I said, have been working together for a long time now, so he knows what's usually broken, and he knows how to fix it on me. Because of that reason, because I trust him, because I've been working with him, because I know he knows what he's doing, he's usually my first stop if it's something that doesn't feel catastrophic, and also I just can't knock on my own. I've got an appointment for Friday with Adrian, and I'm hoping that really helps with everything that I've been dealing with this week in a way that I haven't been able to get to on my own. Because it's something that I think I've dealt with before, because it's something that doesn't seem to be like an actual it doesn't seem to be a chronic injury, and it's not causing like true pain or disruption, I'm going to go to Adrian first. And I think that's going to nip it in the bud, because really this all just feels like tightness around the left hip area for me. I am going to be working as much as I can with the ball along my quad, glute med, and kind of as it feels good on the actual IT band. I will keep using the massage gun, which I have found to be particularly effective for me. And the last thing that I'm doing is I pulled out another pair of endorphin speeds. So if you'll recall my video on the endorphin speeds, I probably had like 300 or 400 miles on that one pair. Total, I had about 800 miles on two pairs. I've gotten to the point where I'm at about 1,200 miles across two pairs, and I decided that was probably enough. And I'm going to shelve those either for, very, very easy days or just donate them, because I put these new ones on, and I have to say, I was missing a little bit of spring. They're a little bit harder than I remember, the new pair is, but I think that's probably a good thing. That means that I haven't, beaten all of the structure out of the foam yet. That's the other kind of main takeaway. If something's hurting, you've got shoes with a lot of miles on them, it's probably best to switch them out. Most of the rest of my shoes are in a reasonable range, so I'm not worried about those, but I do tend towards running in the endorphin speeds just because I like them a lot, and so I figured it now was probably a great time to swap into a new pair. I did 23 miles last week. I'd like to at least kind of maintain that if nothing starts hurting more. I am still planning on putting out a video on the Dallas half. I understand if you do not trust me on that, but I do have a couple of things that I did want to talk about still on it. And I do still have a story to tell there. Not a doctor, not a PT, not a medical professional, because, and please don't take advice from me, but I did kind of want to walk through, as someone who's gone through a lot of injuries in the past that are more overuse related. I kind of wanted to talk about, okay, this is something that I couldn't control, and how did I deal with it? What were my kind of triage steps? And what was my decision-making point to where I believed that there was nothing more that I could do myself, and started looking at professional assistance with getting this done. I think talking through injuries is something that is hard to do liability-wise, but it's something that newer runners and just generally neurotic runners, which, all of them could benefit from just kind of talking through and letting some of the things that may manifest in like anxiety and catastrophizing and stuff, seeing a different way to model behavior to avoid all of that, and hopefully make good decisions to get through injuries faster, even if it means running less in the present moment. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was valuable and hopefully enjoyable. And yeah. Thanks for watching, and I will see you with that Dallas video before summer. That's what I'm committing to. So, all right, thank y'all.